Alright, it's day 16, it's Monday, and it's going to be record highs this week and dry. So you go from a lot of rain to no rain. Anyway, the guys are finishing up trenching out the inside for our insulation going down the grade board. I'm laying out the porch, marked out some footings on the inside so that when the concrete guys can bring us concrete, we can have this ready. But we're going to focus on the plumbing, electrical rough-in, and then all the in-floor heat stuff, so we can get all this ready for concrete so we can get that done as soon as possible. The company I use has a couple big jobs coming up, so I want to get in before that. So we're going to lay out this porch right now. I got my 3 batter boards up, and so now it's just a matter of getting the boards set where I want and then laying out all my columns and drilling them. So what I did there is, this is right under the edge of this is the finished floor height in the house. So obviously I don't like to have my porch concrete level with the finished floor, so I'll drop it down a couple inches. That way any buildup of water, there's no possible way it can run into the inside. So we'll drop this 2 inches here, and then we'll do like another inch and a half drop to the edge of our porch, so that we have a grade off, so all water, all that stuff can run away from the house. So first thing, set this to the grade, then I'll drop it 2 inches, so it means I got to go up, right? Gotta think about this. So I need this to go up. So we're set at +9, so I want to go drop it 2 inches for here, and then I'll drop it another 1.5 inches for our slope off. So to give you a visual, this is actually where our columns, the height of the bottom of our columns are going to be. So now that I got that set, I have it predetermined that we're going to be 2 inches down, and then there will be 1.5 inches slope off of this. So now I can set my grade boards, or my batter boards accordingly. One of you hold the end of the tape up against grade board, and then cash. I want this line to come across 8 foot. Okay. Right like that. So just you know what I mean?
Yeah, you want me on the tape, or you're holding the string back?
Just you come out.
Out. Right there.
Right there? Still
back,
good?
Back in a 16th, right there.
Oh boy, it's getting away from me. Good?
Yep.
Alright, now do it that way.
Out that way about a 16th. Yeah.
Right there?
Yep.
Feel good?
Yep, that's good.
Okay, let's check the other one again. Alright guys, we got the string lines put up. The edge of my posts are going to be 8 foot from the edge of the building, and then there'll be another foot of concrete, so it'll be a 9 foot deep concrete porch. The post will actually be, the edge will be 8 feet. So This side's pretty standard 8-foot spacing on the posts. This side we have to move just so we can center a couple posts over the door, and then we'll evenly space the 2 posts on either side of the door just so it looks aesthetically pleasing. So I'll probably just mark out this side first, and then we'll work on this one over here. Got the porch laid out, all the footings are laid out. We just drilled 4 footings inside. 2 are inside the house, and this is for, there's gonna be a kitchen right here. And that's gonna be an open area, so there's 2 posts that are gonna hold the load of the upstairs. And although we're doing a 6-inch, 4,000 PSI slab, I just like the extra assurance of having that big pier below those posts, which are holding the vast majority of load. If you think about a wall, a 2x4 wall or 2x6 wall, that load's getting spread out across a big distance. So gives me, it allows me to sleep at night because I take the foundation very seriously. There's always, you hear these horror stories all over the place. And you gotta know your building zone for one, but 2, our frost line is 42 inches. So I wanna make sure everything is below the frost line. This is overkill. I'm not going to tell you it isn't, but the homeowner's good with it. I'm good with it. It's going to help me sleep tonight. And the same thing we're doing over here in the shop space. They're putting a lift in, and we poured 2 piers to go below where their lift is going to be, even though a 4,000 PSI slab would be okay. We're going above and beyond here and doing this, so I'll show you that quick. So we just got 2 piers right here, and that's where the big plates get bolted to the floor. So now we have extra support underneath there. It's never going to freeze under this floor, but it doesn't hurt. It's not going to hurt you to put in a footing below it. Nothing would probably ever happen, but it's easy to do right now, so that's why we do it. I told you I would share this insulation we put down the side to prevent frost. So as I showed you guys in the last video, this goes down 2 feet, and then we bring it up, just flush it up with the top of this grade board, just makes it easy. And then we go around and we just, actually the footing's right there, so we'll just use can foam, just seal that up. And then we'll go around the doors and kind of just seal that up there, but the concrete will come in here and will get poured up to here. Concrete will come through here, hit this couple inches of the post, go around the post, and then after we get all the concrete done, we'll have our spray foamer come in and he will spray 3 inches of closed cell, which will attach right here and go all the way up the wall, so you get almost 100% thermal break. Behind these columns will get filled with spray foam. So the only spot that doesn't have spray foam between the outside and the inside is where the girts are. But there will be 3 inches, so it'll come out, you know, roughly in here somewhere. I just thought I'd share that with you because some of you had asked. All right, we're pouring porch footings in the morning, so I want to get this fascia up where the porch is going to be so we don't end up not being able to get to it. But we got to finish all this detail out here. So our FJ, the way we do this is actually part of the truss because the trusses came with the overhang built on them. So I didn't have to build any of this in. Typically, if you get a truss that's the exact width that you're building, you have to fill this in if you want it to finish this way. I like the soffit on the edge to come down, and then I like the soffit on the sidewalls to stop right here. Then I don't have this bird box here. So FJ stops right at the edge of the wall. Soffit on the sidewall stops right here. So what I do is I just take, in this case, an L6, which is a fascia, 6-inch fascia, is long enough to trim this out. So what I'll do is I'll measure an inch past and then out to here and cut a piece of fascia to finish that off. So 19 inches. All right, so one other thing I should add is you could basically run your FJ all the way down here and then bring your steel in over here, but if you look at this, that's a lot of wasted steel. And it's such a small area that that's not what we do. So got this. So this will fit in here like so. So what we got to do is I'm going to mark back an inch, cut this off, and this will all make sense once you see it go in there. Mark an inch. Now that will tuck up underneath there. So now the next thing I need to do is I need to mark this right here. You can either cut this off or just bend this over right here. If you bend it over, it gives it a little bit more strength. So if you have benders, you can bend it. You just want to put a slight bend on it. And the reason, because if you see this coming down, and then when you hit your front fascia board, it's just got, so it's like a 412 bend right there, 512, 612, whatever your roof pitch is. So now getting this in there is a little bit of a trick. So you can see that hooks under your soffit there, finishes that out, and then we have to continue this J channel here for the soffit down through here. So I'll go ahead and fasten this with a couple screws up here, and then we will run. I forgot to order 1/2-inch J, so I just made my own J channel out of some leftover steel that's the same color as this, but typically you would just order 1 stick of 1/2-inch J, and then you'd have enough to finish your 4 corners. So now I have these 2 pieces which I'm going to form a J channel with. This is the bright white part that you're going to see. That's the only part you're going to see. So I'm going to make it sure it goes up into here like an inch. So now I know that will go up in there an inch. I can mark this out here. So that will sit down about a 1/2 inch so that your soffit can come down and fit in there. And then I'm just going to mark the front, cut that off. And if you use a J channel, you're going to have to do the same thing. You're going to have to cut and then bend this to fit around here if you're using a pre-made J. I'm just doing it in 2 pieces, so it's a little bit different. So now I'll just screw that in there in 2 spots, and then I'll take my next piece and put it up in there. So that's the first part. If you're going to make your own, and then you just have to take an angle that nobody's ever going to see, and it has to fit up in here. A half inch gap so that your soffit can continue down. And then your corner trim will come up, die on your sidewall here, come up and cover all this. So this last piece, put it in here, and then I'll mark the edge where I gotta, where it ends, and then I'll leave enough that I can make a little U so it pushes up against this board, so I can get my 1/2 inch spacing, if that makes sense. If I just cut it, that could get pushed up and not look right. Now if you look right here, I put this little bend so this can't push up. If not, otherwise if you just cut this straight, this can get pushed up and then it won't match the rest of your soffit. Now we'll put this little cut, our first piece of fascia. So I got this part right here, this 412, 512, whatever your pitch is. I'm doing an 1.5 inch bend over, so when my piece comes down, it wraps around the front, and then the front one will just go overlap it. So I got to do a 90-degree bend in, and then I'll just cut this off right here, and then I'll show you how we bend this little bottom piece up. If you're asking why I do 1.5 inches, because that's about all I can get out of these. Try to show this. I'm marking 1.5 inches because that's what my front fascia board is. And I'm just gonna run my square along that pitch and mark a line, and then cut that off. So we just notch that out right there. I just make a little back cut to that point. And this gets a little bend.
Those two.
All right, so the front fascia, you can do a couple different things. You can die it right here, or you can bend it 1.5 inches over and have it come down here, and then this all gets covered. So I will always run a screw up through this corner just to hold all this tight, and we will add a few more screws in this when we go all the way up to the peak. So that's it for the corner for now, but it ends up making that look nice and finished right there. That's going to be a wrap on this video. Don't forget that we have design services. Email us design@mrpostframe.com. We have just a bunch of different partners to assist you. We have a Patreon for self-builders. But stay tuned for next week, and we'll show you the unique way that we do our footings for our porch, how we pour them, how we set our wet set brackets so that we can keep our post above the concrete and out of the ground. So don't forget to come back next week and watch that. As always, thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you on the next video.